All right, guys, how's it going? So today we're gonna make batata بالكزبرة. So this dish I learned from my wife. It's a dish that her family really likes to eat. It's basically fried potatoes with garlic, cilantro, and lemon juice. And obviously we're gonna level it up a little bit with our Aleppo salt from Shawarmaji. All right. So first thing we need to do is dice up our potatoes. So we got Yukon Gold potatoes. I like Yukon Golds because you can just leave the skin on. You know, you don't have to peel it. It has a really thin skin. Adds a little bit of flavor and texture to whenever we're making it, right? Basically, what we want to do is we want to dice them into some like pretty small dice, right? We want to basically eat it with bread. So you know, you kind of want it like about that big. Cool. So let's get started. All right, I mean, I'm sure most of you know this, but whenever you're cutting with potatoes, or you're cutting potatoes, you want to make sure to submerge them in water so they don't oxidize. Okay, so that's one potato done. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's actually quite a bit. I'm just going to use a small one.
Is there a particular size you like to cut the potatoes?
Yeah, so we want to kind of have them like a small dice. They're not necessarily bite size. I would say a little bit smaller than bite size. Like I'll be like 3 of these in one bite. I mean, I do have a big mouth, but. All right, so now that we have all our potatoes cut, let's try to get all the rest of our mise en place ready, right? So the second thing that we're gonna need after potatoes, obviously, is cilantro. So I have a whole bunch of cilantro right here, and I'm just gonna chop up the whole thing. This dish really loves cilantro, so the more cilantro, the better. Whenever you're cutting herbs, generally you want to kind of go like one time over them, because the more times you go over the herb, then it starts bruising. So you want to try not to kind of chop it up as many times. So try to get it as thin as you can the first go. Cool. So now that we have our cilantro ready, the third thing that we're gonna do is our garlic. I'm gonna get our masher back. And I have about a whole head of garlic right here. So we're just gonna mash that whole thing. Honestly, also, there's no such thing as too much garlic. And always whenever you're mashing garlic, make sure to add salt to it. All right. Mash, mash. So whenever we like to add salt to when we're mashing garlic, because the salt crystals help break it down a little bit more. So it's easier to smash. Also, like, you know, just adds like a layer of like seasoning to whatever you're making. Right? Okay, so now we have our garlic nice and mashed. I'm just gonna put it right there. Okay. So now the next steps are is we're gonna fry these potatoes now. All right, so want to make sure A, not to overcrowd the pan, and B, that our oil is nice and hot. Maybe those should be the other way around. Make sure the oil is nice and hot. Make sure not to overcrowd the pan, and also make sure to dry it because the water is gonna start popping everywhere. Okay, season these, tossy, and put them here. All right, so now everything's gonna come together. So we have our potatoes, we have our garlic, and we have our cilantro, and we have our lemons. Let me just cut the lemons. Just so we're ready to go. Because everything's gonna go pretty fast right now. So, this is the oil that we fried the potatoes in, right? But we have a new pan. So I'm gonna use some of this oil. And I'm gonna put it in the new pan. All right. I'm not gonna put too much, but I do want a good layer on the bottom of the pan. So make sure there's like oil all over the bottom of the pan, right? Okay, make sure this is on. And go on a medium heat. All right. So the oil is hot, right? Because we just fried the potatoes in. So I'm just gonna go straight away, right? We don't need to wait for it to heat up. So first thing, garlic. All right. And then just gonna cook the garlic up a little bit. We don't want to like brown it, right? We just kind of want to get rid of like the rawness of the garlic, right? So we're not browning it. Alright, I'm just gonna turn this up a little bit just so we can cook. So garlic and cilantro, these are like one of the classic combinations in Arabic cooking, right? A lot of our stews, dishes require like this garlic and cilantro plus oil thing. We call it like a tash, right? Why? Because usually it's hot and you put it on a stew and it goes tsh. So, all right, so we're cooking this garlic. You can see it's, I mean, I'm sure you can't, but like it's already starting to smell like garlic right now. So it's gonna make the whole house smell like garlic. So once this garlic is cooking and ready to go, we're just gonna add the cilantro. And then we're just gonna cook everything. Make sure it's all coated in that oil. Basically what we're doing is kind of like making sure the oil absorbs the oils from the garlic and cilantro. So then you have garlic and cilantro flavored oil, right? So we're just gonna cook that a little bit more. Honestly, I'm just gonna add a little bit more oil in here. All right. So I just want a little bit more oil in here. There we go. All right. So now we're ready to add our potatoes. Once we have our cilantro and garlic and oil, like it's already been cooked maybe like 1 minute, right? We don't want color or anything on the cilantro or the garlic. We want it like to stay like nice and fresh, but just kind of like take away some of that raw flavor. So then we'll just add our potatoes on here.
Got it.
And then we're just gonna mix this up. Right, so now once everything is nice and mixed, the key and the secret to what makes this so delicious is the lemon juice. I like mine pretty sour, so I'm just gonna use 2 whole lemons in here. This is basically like the Arab version of like garlic fries, right? Okay. So now we have our garlic, our lemon, our cilantro, our potatoes, our oils, all getting to know each other in the pan. And then we just kind of give it a toss. Let it like cook together just for like, yeah, honestly not that long, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, you know, just to make sure everybody gets to know each other, and then it's ready to serve. All right, so now everybody's gotten to know each other, and everything is like nice and homogeneous and delicious. Just gonna plate it up. Make sure to turn off your stove. All right, so now it's nice and hot. Everything's together, homogeneous, if you will. I'm just gonna go in. Bismillah. Wow, that's the stuff. Nice, garlicky, very tart from the lemon. This is a really good like side dish, or even like honestly, if you just put a bowl of this in front of me with some bread, we're good to go. That's a meal for me, you know. But yeah, you should definitely try this. Add it to like one of your, you know, beautiful spreads, you know, just a little bit on the side, or if you want to just make it for yourself at home. It really feeds the soul.